That could be pretty huge there for sure.
Certainly can. So I'm really excited to see this. Please show me what these dinosaurs do.
I'll do my best to quiet my salivating as I see the beautiful Maliss combos before us.
Stand by.
Yes. And mania.
I see a name there, as well as maybe
Mania.
backup at Ignister in Dean's hand, which could be a really fun way to start off here. But ooh, we see the honorary Maliss extender spell card, Allure of Darkness.
And what an amazing ultimate rare that is, just like the circles upon circles. But looks like it's good. Gonna go ahead and draw 2 cards. Banish a dark monster here. Looks like we're adding Droll and Lockbird. And Droll and Lockbird in the hand. Oof. But we are gonna go ahead and banish that Maliss P Chessy Cat.
Which is essentially just another monster on the field.
And another Allure of Darkness, technically.
And again, a huge shout out to our production team here. Maliss, your life points are gonna be going everywhere during this matchup, so be ready for that.
All right, so gearing up, giving our duelists just a moment to write down. You do have to keep track of the life points on paper.
And this is sort of the first inflection point for a lot of Maliss matchups where your opponent is like, do they activate Chessy Cat? Do they not? If they do I stop it? Do I wait for the thing that comes out?
I will link Chessy Cat away.
Ooh, no declaration of Chessy Cat, meaning there is no Maliss name in Dean's hand. Trust me when I say if he had one, he would have used it.
Summon?
So we're going to Legal Rebo, but in response on summon, we are going to go ahead and pitch the Molcharmi Purulia.
Really heads-up play there.
Fualo, excuse me.
Yeah, Molcharmi Fualo, very heads-up play there from Avery, waiting until stuff was committed, because Maliss is definitely one of those decks where, if you shotgun the Fualos, they can just go make Heart Scripter, set a bunch of back row, and say, your turn, and they still have plenty of ways to interact.
Speaking of interacting, we're going to go ahead and reveal the backup at Ignister there. The sort of spiritual successor of backup secretary, but this is more than just a free Cyber's body.
Yeah, so because Dean controls a Cyber's Link monster, he's able to summon it from his hand, and then on summon he can search for a Dark Cyber's monster, add to his hand, then discard at resolution.
Be very powerful to go ahead and set up an additional Maliss play if he happens to get access to the Maliss March Hare. Now, it is a little odd, the hand having 2 Droll and Lockbirds, that could slow the duel's tempo down, but it's not going to speed things up for Dean right this moment.
And he can always discard one using the Secretary as well to have that redundancy kind of taken care of. Just debating here between getting the Wizard. He is going to choose to get Wizard at Ignister, another new card from Alliance Insight. This card essentially reborns under the Cybers from the graveyard and can change battle positions of your opponent's monsters, which is pretty cool. Yep, and there we see that second Droll and Lockbird getting discarded. Dean's like, I got plenty of these. We don't need any more birds.
But that's so cool because now from Avery's perspective, he thinks, oh, he doesn't have a Droll and Lockbird because he discarded it. Well, maybe that redundancy actually is going to pay off.
Yeah, I often think of playing against Maliss, it's like playing against a poker player, I have to take everything they do as a point of inflection for information because their hand can be so powerful. It's either full of extenders, non-engine, or more engine. And all those options are scary, but it really affects my way of playing if I'm on Avery's side.
Well, let's see what Dean does next. He goes ahead and performs the Link 2. We're going into appears to be Splash Mage.
That's normally how the newer Maliss combos kind of start off because it just allows you to get quickly into your Red Ransom, which can get you things like Mouse in the Mirror access, which is really awesome.
Oh, and there's the Droll and Lockbird, so that'll definitely help. We're going to go ahead and burn that now, which means this turn I think is going to be pretty active.
Oh, very heads-up play there from Dean, using the Droll and Lockbird to stop these Fualos draws, so that way he can just full combo and not have to worry about anything because he doesn't really need to add cards to his hand anymore. Yeah, he loses access to Red Ransom, but who cares?
Feeling pretty good on that end as the Maliss P Chessy Cat returns to the field. So all the materials you need for a Link 3.
This could be a good White Binder play if he plays things like TB11, which he might not. Some Maliss players don't choose to do that. It's always going to be, I think, pretty telling here what he goes for.
What a weird format we're in where there are so many choices for the Maliss deck that they can even start dropping what was critically seen as some of their most important trap cards.
Yep, so there we see the Red Ransom. It will not get its effect on summon because of the Droll and Lockbird, but it still has the effect to banish stuff from the deck. If it gets banished, and there we see Gold Sarcophagus.
Oh, wow.
Yet another Maliss Gold Sarcophagus card played here from the opponent.
So there's the Dormouse getting banished there. About to hear those life point chimes once again. Minus 300 to have Dormouse appear back on the field.
This could be a really good gambit for Dean here to go for something like add Dormouse, use Dormouse's effect to banish the brand new March Hare. March Hare adds up the hand, and then link these two off. Then use March Hare to banish the Red Ransom and get access to all your bodies that way.
That is what makes March Hare such an unusual card, right? Some cards would say other than itself. Not so with March Hare, but it looks like instead we're going to take a U-turn here and grab the Maliss P White Rabbit, get a little bit of additional advantage.
Yeah, we want to get access to the trap cards, I feel like, if we're Dean here, just to get that awesome grind game in rotation, because if Avery does have extra ways to stop us, this just feels like the most insulatory plays you could go for.
What is this effect for Red Rabbit?
To set one Maliss trap from
so White Binder's effect on summon will let it set from the deck. I believe we took in a total of 900 life points of damage. to go to 7,100 here.
Avery been playing his hand pretty close to the chest, so I can't see if there's like a Nibiru, the Primal Being, or something in his hand. But seems to just be staring down material after material as Dean sets things up.
Yeah, so I think what Dean's probably going to try to do is like weave in Whitebinder as soon as possible to try to play around the potential of a card like Nibiru. But because we have GWC access, we're kind of always safe from Nibiru, so I think he's like chill to play through it. But it's all a timing thing, and it can be really tough to tell.
We will activate GWC06.
Well, time to find out as we use GWC06. Let's go ahead and banish. And who are we grabbing from the grave?
We're going to get the Chessy Cat, I believe. Yep, just bring that back.
Cheesy cat here.
And then we're going to use
Hearts
Red Ransom on a new chain, pay 900, and then banish the last name out of the deck that we haven't seen yet. It's only fitting that we haven't seen the newest one last. It's going to be March Hare. Maliss P. March Hare, to be specific.
Slowly but surely just crawling through this field, but showing how resilient this deck still is, even though the Forbidden Limited list did change things just a little bit for it. Don't cry for Maliss. I think it's doing just fine as Maliss P. March Hare finally hits the tournament tables, banished. And let's pay 300 to grab it back to the hand.
Dean might have gotten his hands on this card yesterday, but he's playing it like an absolute master. You can tell he was ready for this card to come out.
You're good to summon?
It doesn't actually summon it. Adds the hand.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is a brand new card, and that's what's really interesting about March Hare. It's got a sort of bestial flavor to it, being able to banish those Maliss names from the graveyard. As a quick effect, too, which is insane.
Yeah, for the longest time, Maliss has had like a really big problem of drawing too many names, but now having an in-archetype bestial, essentially, you can really utilize all those names because Maliss P. March Hare can banish from the graveyard or from the hand, which is just amazing.
We'll go.
All of a sudden, you don't get like clumpy hands anymore. You're able to just sort of like dislodge it, I guess? Yeah, dislodge it with that Maliss P. March Hare. But speaking of which, I think we are going to go ahead and link summon here. Just choose the material. It's going to be all three of our main deck monsters.
This is feeling like a Whitebinder play to me, just so we can have that GWC access during Avery's turn.
Took a quick look at the Allied Code Talker there.
I don't think he can summon that with a Link 3. He would need to get rid of the Red Ransom 2, but that could be what he's trying to end on, and he's trying to think to himself, how can I get there?
Yep.
I will think on
Whitebinder is in play now.
We've used all of our names, so unless we really want the Fuelos to be banished or we want like really good access for Hard Scripter later on, there's really no need to necessarily banish right now. Sometimes what I'll do is I'll wait to use my Whitebinder banish until after I summon it back, using its own effect. But Dean might not be doing that for the rest of this game.
Now, there may be some sense into getting rid of the backup at Ignister there because maybe you just don't want to call by the grave to hit you later, right? If it's not in the graveyard, it's not eligible for being called by.
100%.
Yes.
Yep, so now we're going to use the Ignition effect of Whitebinder to reset the trap card GWC06, just give us our follow-up / our extra disruption that we have on during Avery's turn.
I messed up again.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Dean is kind of leaving himself with not that much places to go from here because unless he's playing things like Access Code Talker, or Firewall Dragon, he's not really going to have like the best things to end on because he's already used a lot of his effects. It is worth noting that he hasn't used the March Hare's ability to banish to summon itself out, but there's nothing really to banish because unless that Whitebinder hits the graveyard, it's not going to come back. We still have the Wizard, I believe, as well, that we searched earlier off of the backup.
Yeah, hasn't happened yet.
Like I said, I think he's going to try to figure out a way to put both these Link 3s in the graveyard and then summon them back off with Allied Code Talker at Ignister.
Does that target?
But that might be tough to get there and not play through
not
Nibiru,
sure
is
if
the maybe thing he's thinking about.
You're right. It just banishes.
Yep.
So looks like we are going to go ahead and banish the Dormouse. And what is cool about that Maliss P. March Hare, not only are you able to add cards back to the hand for extended plays, but later in the duel, let's say you really need access to the Dormouse, it's just sitting there. You might as well add it to your hand so you can start off your Maliss combo once more. So very powerful card and definitely seeing its influence on this duel already.
Mm-hmm.
Did I see that right? Is that a Dominus Impulse in the hand?
Ooh, that could be a really nice way to kind of top off this end board here, whatever Dean tries to go for, to have that extra bit of disruption for Avery's turn. There we see the potential Link 5 question mark? Link 3 question mark?
I think he's looking at it.
Yeah, he's gonna value the Hard Script disruption a little bit higher than maybe the Allied Code Talker here.
Nothing to summon a Cryptor.
I will.
This also lets him play around Nibiru too, because Cryptor can always just banish herself and dodge the Nibiru tribute, which is pretty cool if he's thinking about that. So here we see the Wizard bringing back the March Hare. That's going to be the 2 bodies he needs. He can now use these 2 to go for Allied Kotaku or Ignister and then summon back both of the 2300 attack
Do you
point.
mind if I read the crypto?
All right, Arrowhead's confirmed. I think we're about to link 5.
Yep, there we see Allied Code Talker at Ignister. Maliss? Is that also part of his name? I forgot.
No, Maliss is not part of his name.
The cover card for Alliance Insight. This card essentially is an Omni Negate for Cyber's cards, and on summon it'll let him summon as many 2300 attack point Link 3s
to reborn as many
from his graveyard
Links
to the zones that this card points to. I believe that's 2 right now. Red Ransom and White Binder.
That is right. Now, certainly, Code Talkers are what comes to mind when you think of Link 3 2300, but honorary Code Talkers, there's no Code Talker in their name, but they feel like it.
That I will set 1.
So we're definitely showcasing the power of the Maliss Dark type, but I feel like Dean might have left himself a little bit stymied here because I don't see the easiest access to getting to Heart's Cryptor during his opponent's turn. He would have to like use the Allied Code Talker first, tribute his White Binder, then GDC back out the White Binder. So Avery could have an opportunity in that window to go for a really big dinosaur play. But he does have to fight through a lot.
All right, well, it's dinosaur time. Let's see what we got here. Looks like he drew an additional copy of Fualos there, an Ash Blossom and Joy Spring in the hand. I do see an Anima-adorned Archosaur.
I mean, this will be a fun thing to see.
Oh, but we're going to start off with the Fualos. That's very strong.
No, sir.
Just to kind of, sort of like just spot checks things like, hey, you're going to do anything about this? Cool. Okay, well, then I'm going to start playing, and maybe I'll draw a card later.
If it was Meowls, I know Dean would have been like, uh-oh.
Ooh, Pot of Prosperity.
Okay, I respect that. We know Dinosaur's a very main deck-centric deck when it comes to its big boss monsters, and that can totally be enough for you to kind of fight through whatever this board is. But that Allied Kotaku Ignister might be hard to play through if you have like a really big power spell or power monster you need to get through because it can just negate and destroy that card.
Be interesting to see the reaction there because Dean's not in the joke like we are. Doesn't know that dinosaurs are coming his way.
That's a very good point. I didn't even think about that, how shocking these top 3 cards might be for Dean to see.
Think about that. How many in hand?
4 in hand.
4 in hand. I'm going to chain Allied Code to tribute the White
We
Binder.
are going to use Allied
wow.
Kotaku. So this is really interesting here because not only will he not get to know what deck Avery's
I
playing,
believe so,
Yes.
but the reason he's doing this is because he needs to set up his
thinking on the
GWC 06 because now he can 06 bring back White Binder, summon back all of his Malice names, get an extra trap card, and still play under Fualos, funny enough, which is very funny. He's going to summon 5 monsters, but like Fualos won't draw you a single card.
Well, Trouble Your
Well,
Meow's the
actually,
main deck is seeming better and better, and
so
just
this
like
lets
you
you
said,
banish
here we
for
go,
cost, is that what I'm
GWC
It
06.
only banishes for cost if it was the turn it was set.
Interesting to see
Otherwise, it
him
just
choose to
reboots.
shotgun it
Just
on an open
reborns.
game state and not like in reaction to anything.
Doesn't
But
target, just
I'm not
reborns
sure
and
what he's trying to play
one
around
from
necessarily,
wave or
but
banish.
Wave or banish. That's it.
it could be interesting because he's kind of leaving himself open to getting impermed on the White Binder on summon, but let's see what happens here.
Now, I'm not saying Avery is down and out of the duel yet,
copy
but
of
there
White.
is going to come a point where you have to consider,
gain
do
23.
you surrender before your opponent even finds out your strategy, or do you keep trying to push and risk giving away a little bit of information?
I've always been a really big proponent of like watching how my opponent plays
then
as
on
long as
summon,
possible because the
we'll
way
use
they
White
play
Binder's
their
effect.
deck is almost more important to
Banish
me than if they know what I'm playing or
To
not.
target up to
Because how they use their disruptions can tell me a lot about the advantages I can have in
March
games
Hare.
2 and 3.
Looks like we're going to go ahead and banish
White
the
Rabbit.
March Hare, Heart's Cryptor, and then the White Rabbit.
Yeah, that's going to be super good. It gives him follow-up. It gives him access to March Hare as an
here I
extra
will
banish
pay
during this turn in case he wants to get even more
for
value. And he gets the extra trap
300
card
for
out of his
Rabbit,
deck, potentially
300 for
MTPO7,
Hare,
and get that
and then
second
900
non-target banish
for-
alongside his Heart's Cryptor. So this is going to be a crazy Malice board. He went from having 3 monsters to 2 to 6.
Well, the Malice wars continue here.
I'm sorry, 5. March Hare is going to hand.
I'm not sure what that puts me at. I haven't been totaling it.
And then life points, he gained
this is
23
to
just
resolve?
now,
This is
and
good
he's
to
losing
resolve.
another
1,500, right?
15.
9,
So,
and yeah.
so he gained 800 total.
Let's just go ahead and put the Heart's Cryptor over there.
This stays here. It'll add 1 back. This will summon.
Just such a strong field being established. Remember whose turn this is, right?
And this
It's
will
our
add,
turn, but
we'll add back
no,
March
we
Hare.
haven't even seen a single dinosaur yet,
On a
so
new chain, we'll
again, it'll be
trigger
interesting
the-
to see how Dean reacts.
to set a Malice trap.
Yeah.
Yep, so we're going to see the set of the Malice Trap card. My assumption is going to be MTPO7 for that extra non-target
We'll set
banish.
a copy of MTPO7.
There it
Feels
is.
good.
Mind if I read empty
It is
messages?
worth
Just
noting,
wanna
too,
make
that we
sure.
haven't
Double
used
check.
Red Ransom or White Binder's effect when they're banished. So if we banish either of those, we can get even more value. And this just shows the power of the Maliss grind game that I call it, which is this sort of loop of things like Whitebinder, G2CO6, and the triple DD Crow-like effect.
What's kind of incredible is that it gets access to this pretty much every turn that it goes unopposed. Not to say that the deck cannot be defeated, but as long as it can keep doing this, again, from start to bottom of a turn, that's pretty good.
Yes, if his shit points to a monster, all the attack and defense.
So just confirming the effect of Red Ransom there. Of course, it does ransom your abilities, kind of has that inherent shield and sword-like ability to swap everything.
It is also worth noting, too, that all the Maliss main deck monsters have abilities when Maliss Link monsters point to them.
So 33.
So like White Rabbit right now, if you did battle with Red Ransom, Dean would not take any damage.
Oh, normal summon?
Ooh, and there we see the Archosaur!
On summon effect.
A lovely little level 1 light dragon with the on summon effect to pop itself an ad,
So
or pop a card
a
now.
dinosaur from hand or field to add a pill spell.
The tiniest dinosaur. Wouldn't harm a fly, but it might harm his opponent's life points once it gets going.
I mean,
as the popped monster.
Like, if we just get access to UCT this turn, do we just break this board?
Maybe?
Right? Like
attack, 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 attack.
Like, all we have to play through is all we have to play through is 2 non-target banishes plus another trap card, and there we see the double evolution pill coming to hand.
We're doing it.
I mean, we're dinoing. I bet Dean looks stunned to me. He's just like, okay, we do have Dominus Impulse, which can stop the pill, which is worth noting.
And I will say the defense of Ultimate Conductor Tyranno is 3,200, so Red Ransom be darned. We getting in there.
True, Red Ransom does swap.
It swaps it, but what does it matter when the defense is equally pretty high?
Turns out a big dinosaur also has a big defense as well. So we see Overraptor going to be Overraptoring. Man, this card's been doing all kinds of craziness since, what, 2017, 2018?
Oh, yeah. I mean,
Crazy.
The dinosaur structure deck, I could never find it in my official tournament store because everybody just gobbled this up. It was such a great deck.
Oh, there it is. He's reading Miscellaneous.
He's reading Miscellaneous chat. Do you see what is happening?
Which, good on him. You definitely should do that. That card's crazy.
It's in my hand. It
was
added.
Yeah.
Okay. Dean's like, well, obviously you're going to do this, right?
Yeah,
So
not yet.
Let me just do it for you. Not yet.
Sorry, chat. We love Yu-Gi-Oh! So when this stuff happens, we just are here for the meme like you are.
I am interested to see how Avery kind of goes from here because he has the 2 monsters. We know he's playing Fiendsmith. Dean maybe doesn't know that. We could see.
Yeah, what's the
read?
You can't see that this is a Fiendsmith deck. This is dinosaurs.
Not
Clearly.
yet. Not yet.
First effect by sending to grave.
Yep, there we see the first effect of Mist being activated.
So
And now he's unaffected.
For this main phase. That's why you have to read Miscellaneousaurus, because it's a very specific effect. The dinosaurs are unaffected by activated effects during this main phase.
And that includes trap cards, correct?
Yeah, it affects an effect, including if it's a trap card.
So I'm saying, and we're going to chain to Mrs. Effect using MTPO7. Very heads up from Dean here.
This will banish for cost. We'll banish the White Binder.
Yep, so we're banishing Whitebinder here to be able to activate. It's not necessarily cost. It's more like allowing us to activate it, which I guess is a cost.
It is, but it is a very strange thing. Earlier in the duel, they had that conversation. It's like, wait, you didn't banish. Like, well, I don't have to banish if it's the turn later, which can also be a detriment to Maliss. Sometimes they do want to banish here.
Yes. So it is an interesting kind of a card, but yeah, he's able to activate it here, banishing the Whitebinder. He'll be adding and non-target banishing as Chainlink 2, where Misk is Chainlink 1. So he will be able to get rid of one of these bodies. In my mind, you get rid of the Overraptor because it hasn't used its other effect to summon yet.
Makes sense. Think about that cost. It's almost like it's on sale sometimes, right? Like, ordinarily you got to banish a Maliss, but for you, nah, we'll let this go.
It is worth noting that the Overraptor should be banished here and not destroyed. There we see the fix.
Correct.
That does matter for Pill.
And so this was done before the Miscellaneousaurus resolved, so that's why the dinosaur was affected. Okay, just making sure I got my head on straight.
07 was Chainlink 2, Miss was Chainlink 1. And
Ooh,
there was
Ash Blossom, yeah.
So the 9
stops the Whitebinder because it's got the draw effect on that Pay 900.
Oh, interesting choice to save it for the Whitebinder to kind of stop that access easily. But you could have also just done it to MTPO7 and stopped the banishing of your Overraptor as well. Interesting choice there. But maybe he just didn't think about that?
Well, or maybe he wants to keep his dinosaurs. Maybe there's something going on with Animador and Archosaur.
We'll see. We'll see for sure.
Clearly, if you get this far in the tournament with this Dinosaur Fiendsmith deck, you know what you're doing, and you probably have played against at least one Maliss player before. So you've got a plan. Trust the process.
Let's see. I think every card that we know about has been played already. It's just a question of what can he do with this Archosaur. As far as I'm concerned, you could still use Misk So like if you can get the Archosaur in the graveyard, you can use Mist to bring it back out, which is kind of cool to get like double bodies that way. But I don't think you can link this off or anything.
Miscellaneous Source, when you banish it from there, let me read Miscellaneous Source. Let's do this together, chat.
To my understanding, you could banish like it plus another number of dinosaur monsters and then summon a monster whose level is less than that. And so, like, because Archosaur's level 1, you can just, like, send Mist by himself and then summon it.
That's correct.
But again, I haven't read Mist in a long time. I don't want to just speak out my UCT about this.
Tell you what, we'll save that between turns, but chat, we will officially read Miscellaneousaurus.
But here we see the link summon of Relinquished Anima. It is level 1. Oh, I was like, what can he link off into? Of course.
Now, I will say, you know, the Allied Code Talker at Ignister, you know, 5 arrows it has. They don't point at that. Could you imagine absorbing it?
Dude, that'd be so wild.
That'd be insane.
That'd be so wild.
Effect, banish 2 for cost.
Yep.
Ooh, 2.
Just press summon a level 2 dinosaur from deck.
Yep. So now he's going to summon a level 2 dinosaur from the deck.
So imagine that's like Baby Ceratosaurus.
That's fine.
Or Petite Pterodon, maybe?
Yeah, there's a lot of different level 2 dinosaurs, so we'll have to find out.
Petite Pteranodon.
Oh, there it is.
Yeah.
There it is.
Married.
Yes.
We're reading every dinosaur. And you really should, chat. You know, as fun as we're having about all these, you know, reading dinosaur card jokes, there's no problem in asking your opponent, just, I really need to verify this. And at this level at tournament play, don't just guess. Find out.
And then remember, his dinosaurs are unaffected, guys. We have to remember this.
Yes.
They are unaffected. But Double Evolution Pill is not unaffected, right? It's a spell card.
Yeah, it's a spell, so it could be negated.
Okay.
Right, exactly. So Dominus Impulse is a really huge card here to have for Dean, if that is the card that he has set face down.
To shuffle it back in the
Now, dinosaurs certainly are known for many things, and the reactions can be one of those things. So unfortunately, Avery did receive a slow play minor warning. If you see our timer go up for 3 minutes, that's the standard time extension for a slow play minor warning. But it's his first one. He hasn't had any other slow play penalties, so it will not be upgraded.
Also, huge heads up play here from Dean, putting back the White Binder into his extra deck so he can access it later and getting rid of that Relinquished Anima, just denying Avery as many bodies as possible, which Avery was probably like, I was really hoping to go for a Fiendsmith play this turn.
There's the pill. Yep. Oh, the Dominus Impulse!
That will negate and destroy the Evolution Pill because it contains an effect to destroy a monster, special summon a monster, and Dean was so quick to flip that up. He's like, I'm not even going to worry about this, man. It's not working.
That is making it difficult there.
Sure.
Oh, and there we see the pass from Avery. Honestly, UCT might have been enough to break this board altogether because Dean had already used the hard scripter. He could have just waited for the battle phase and used it then. Or no, I forget. UCT's protected, right?
No, because it's only the main phase. Your dinosaurs will only be protected from their main phase.
Exactly.
Only. So yeah,
beautiful.
So he did what was right. Unfortunately, just not going his way.
And then,
yeah.
Yep.
If I was Dean, I probably would have saved the hard scripter if I didn't have Impulse.
I will target the Dormouse. We'll shuffle it back to banish the Pterodon.
Yep.
Ooh.
Oh, this is getting real difficult there. Avery, unfortunately, staring down a lot of monsters.
Let's see, how much damage do we currently have on the board? This hard scripter was summoned using its effect, so it's currently 5,000 minimum.
Yeah, that's going to be enough.
Yeah, plus the 20. I believe Allied Code Talker is just 23, right?
I think so, yeah. But Dominus Impulse just really set the tone for this duel. And
at this point,
now we get the Chesacat.
Oh, and there we see Avery just conceding. He's like, I don't need you to do the math for me, man. I got this. Looks like Avery has chosen to go first.
All right, well, now that the dinosaur is out of the bag, if that's a saying.
Stand by main.
Are we going to start off with Fossil Dig, that beautiful QCR rarity? What was that, Stampede that came out
I think so, and it does look so gorgeous there. But let's see what dinosaur we grab. A lot of different choices here. Imagine Soul Eating Overraptor, but it depends on what the hand is.
I mean, we're going to get...
Oh, Miscellaneousaurus. Well, I promised we would read it, so let's go ahead and remember. Again, during the main phase, quick effect, you can send this card from your hand to the graveyard. During this main phase, dinosaur monster you control are unaffected by your opponent's activated effects. You can banish any number of monsters from your graveyard, including this card special summon a dinosaur monster from your deck with a level equal to that total number of monsters banish activate this effect, but destroy it during the end phase.
Ooh, and there we see the Fiendsmith Tract.
All right, surprise, surprise.
Boom, baby. You thought we were playing dinosaurs? No, we're also playing Fiendsmith, and there we see the, of course, fabled Lurie added
he's got the collector's rare version. I love it.
That's very nice. And now Lurie's effect will activate it because it was discarded with Tract to summon itself back out. And now we have a Light Fiend. We're going to go ahead and link off that Lurie into the fabled Fiendsmith Requiem.
There's a lot of information being exchanged here because, you know, if there was going to be a Mulcharbean coming down or something like that, or a Droll and Lockbird, we obviously would have seen it by now. So, you know, Feeling pretty good. I think we're going into a frenzy as Avery goes into his deck with that Fiendsmith Requiem.
Crimson Tears
Yeah,
effect
even
on
though it
summon.
is like game 2,
To dump.
almost always, besides Ash Blossom, the only real non-engine that Maliss decks plays are Mulch Armies and Dominus Impulse. So you can kind of confidently go through a lot of the
Opening
Fiendsmith
Reaper.
plays without worrying too much about those cards because they're not even really playing
Anything here?
Bestials anymore.
Which is so strange, you know,
effect
just a
of
few
Requiem to
cards
equip to the
difference,
Lacrimal
and now
Crimson
the
Tears.
entire format for that deck, for that, like, if you're
Anything
part
here?
of, like, the Maliss army, your deck doesn't
And
look
these two.
different, but the way you play it does, which is so cool.
We prefer to call ourselves the Red Hearts
that's what
Army,
we're
Steven.
Okay,
You,
okay.
you know that. We've talked about this, and I'm a little hurt.
Engraver, shuffling
Okay,
back
okay,
Blurry for
fine,
cost.
fine.
Oh my gosh. Miscellaneous Saurus can trigger Necroquip Princess. That is awesome.
Oh, it can! Oh, wow, that's wild.
I was like, I wonder why we're starting with Fiendsmith combo, not using Misk yet.
Yeah.
Now I know why.
That gets it done, too.
That would be super awesome. Every time I get to draw a card out of Necroquip Princess, it feels illegal. Like I'm doing too
Anything
good
on
at
the
this.
summon?
Feels
of
right,
Engraver?
feels right.
No, wait, no, we didn't do it. We didn't do Miscellaneous Saurus.
No, I guess he wanted to save
Make
that.
a DD Wave King Caesar.
That is a really big
Anything?
exchange there.
Oh, that's a little sad. I was really looking forward to that draw. I
Normal
headed up
Raptor?
for no reason. I'm sorry. I
Activate
shouldn't have
effect
got
to
people's
search.
hopes up. But now we have Caesar. So now Nibiru, not a threat at all ever, and that's a really good monster
Or a
into the
dinosaur?
Malice board specifically. If they don't have like an imperm or a way to out it beforehand.
You know, he's feeling very safe here as he uses the Soul Eating Overraptor to go ahead and grab the Baby
Will
Ceratosaurus.
activate Misk effect. Anything here?
Or do you need to control Dinosaur
Misk
for Mist?
second effect,
No,
banish
you
yourself
just
to
discard
cost
it and you're
special level
fine.
1.
So maybe he missed an
Dinosaur.
opportunity there, or maybe it was tunnel vision. Maybe he didn't want to risk getting Droll and Lockbirded. I don't know.
Fair enough.
And Animadon Archosaur.
Yep, there we see the
Effect
Archosaur
on
coming
summon
out.
To pop a dinosaur from hand or field to add a pill spell.
That's good.
Yep, and we just had a Berry Ceratosaurus, so we'll get the value that we had in the first game.
2 for 1. Feels pretty good.
Double evolution pool.
And now we got double pill. Is this one going to resolve? And are we
Resolution.
going to have Caesar plus
Baby Ceratosaurus effect
UCT?
to special.
I think so.
It's pretty good.
Woo, Dean has got his work cut out for him
Special
because
ability.
being able to flip the monster face
Anything-
down, ooh, that's going to be strong.
There we see Petite
Double
Pterodon.
Overraptor effect target the petite to revive a dinosaur from grave in defense position.
Yep, so we're going to go ahead and destroy that to bring back Baby
Effect.
Ceratosaurus.
Special summon level 4 or higher dinosaur.
And this will get us another level 4 dinosaur potentially, and that could be Dolka if we want one. And then we'll have Dolka plus
Xeno?
Caesar.
Oh, that's pretty good.
there you go.
Xenometeorus?
Oh,
wow. Okay.
I forgot. You could summon higher with Petite Pterodon. I totally forgot you could do that.
You can. So Xenometeorus came out, I think, Wild Survivors, and you do not see this every day. There's no way he's like, actually, this has got to just be,
If I see a Frostosaurus come out, I'm going to go crazy.
that we don't,
We don't know. But if we do, I'm going to go crazy.
normal monsters outside of a Primite deck
outside
in
of a Primite.
2025?
Oh my goodness. So there we see the Xeno effect being activated, I believe, destroying the Archosaur, maybe? Question mark?
Thinking on summoning.
Possibly. He's got to keep the pace up. Has been warned for slow play before, so you just want to keep those moves going here.
I bet you he's like, I can't believe I got this far. Hang on, let me think really quick.
This isn't supposed to happen.
Normally people try to stop me from doing this. Give me 1 second.
So yeah, again, take a look at the effect of Xenometeorus. During the main phase, you can destroy a dinosaur monster in your hand or
One
field,
into
and then
relinquish
special summon a
animal, anything on
dinosaur
summon
normal
animal.
monster. So I guess he's got to have it.
Yep, so here we're going to use the Archosaur to go back into Anima like we saw in Game 1, just to open up the zones, I think, so he could be able to activate Xeno, because if he has his zones full, I don't think he's allowed to activate Xeno beforehand.
Could be good for an SP Little Knight. Doesn't seem like it's applicable here, but okay, yeah, there's Baby Ceratosaurus. All right, we're going to find out.
And to my knowledge, Baby Ceratosaurus, not once per turn, and there's the
Resolution.
Frostosaurus! Let's go, baby!
I mean, people have been playing like Summon Skull in Fiendsmith decks. You haven't been seeing people playing Frostosaurus. Is that Chiaptera? What is going on? This is so cool.
Sea serpents, worm, and I believe dragons. Yes, dragon.
He is
dinosaur,
locked
sea serpent.
basically into the
For the rest of
Ryuge
the turn,
archetype,
I'm
so
locked
it's
into-
dinosaurs,
Okay,
sea
you
serpents,
said not
worms,
locked, right?
dragons.
No,
But
I-
notably, that was
I am
after.
locked.
That was
Okay,
after
okay.
he activated the Xeno
Anything
effect, so
here?
that's why he was able to go Archosaur before into the Anima.
Into.
And there we saw the Kaito Terra coming down,
Reprodocus.
and we're going to go into Reprodocus. Okay, now we're cooking with gas here. We're going to go to a rank 6. And then we have Evil Sword Lars. I was talking Dolka up. I totally forgot about Lars.
Yeah.
Vanishing for cost.
This is so cool.
Yep, so we're going to banish Anima and Kaito Terra.
Well, so summon a level 7 or higher dinosaur.
I hope the
ignore-
Rex Raptors and Tyranno Hassleberries of the world are watching now because, oh, and yeah, there's the ultimate conductor. Oh, this is
Effective
cool.
Title to special from banish.
And even if we had Dominus Impulse, Lars could have just negated it. So he's
Yeah.
just like fully safe here. Also with Lars, with dinosaur monsters, actually, I believe, can just get rid of one. Doesn't need to get rid of both. So he has double
Make a
Lars
Dolka?
activations potentially.
What? And a
And we
Dolka?
get Dolka. This board is crazy.
If you're not here at the venue,
Anything
you're not
else?
hearing people cheer for this.
I'll pass to you.
Oh
This
my
is
goodness.
crazy.
So,
Okay.
So let me go through this really quick. We have 3 summon interactions. We have
2
Lars.
effect negations.
We have Reaper-Docus, which I don't think can do anything right now.
No, he doesn't do anything right
And
now.
we have UCT for a Book of Moon.
That's pretty good. Okay,
That's-
I get it. I get it.
And against a Maliss deck, being able to stop their summons is huge. But there we see the Imperm on the Caesar.
Maybe the Lars says no.
Lars could, I believe, interact with this, yes.
The Caesar?
Yes, sir.
Both duelists just putting on a great performance, but again, it's not every day that you see the dinosaurs. So that's why we're particularly excited here. We're going to go and negate that infinite impermanence. It's not going to be another one dropping down, is there? No, doesn't look like it.
There we see a Lore of Darkness. That's a pretty big card here.
What printing is that? So cool looking.
Wasn't it an OTS promo?
Oh, that's the one it is. Oh, you're right. Wow.
I know my Malice Max Rarity card.
Did he just draw another Joel and Lockbird off of Allure of Darkness like he did in the first game?
Imagine if he had that during...
Oh,
Avery's
earlier?
turn,
Yeah,
yeah.
a little too late there. We are going to go and banish the Malice Beach Chessy Cat,
Yes, sir.
pay some life points in order to special summon it. But there's a possibility here that,
attach
like,
one
the
to
Dolka
negate
just says no.
Oh,
Oh, no,
no.
we're just going to go ahead and negate it with the Caesar.
Yeah, you definitely want to use up the Caesar first, I think, because it's like the most useless monster you have here.
It doesn't have, like, an all range. It doesn't cover every effect.
And use the effect.
Yep, so that was a normal summon to back up.
Negate and destroy, but attaching one.
Yep, so we're just going to
Negate
negate
and
this.
destroy, yes.
Yeah, so we're just going to negate the normal summon, I believe.
And Dolka is not just once per turn.
No, it is
That's
not.
crazy.
I will concede this game.
Oh, and there we
And
see
there's the
Dean!
concession.
With the concession.
Wow. Is of the essence because Malice does a little of its damage to itself. It also gains life points too. Man, those Droll and Lockbird just glued to his hand. So,
Go Perulia.
Perulia's
we're gonna do Perulia.
Perulia is a bit of a
Big
better
cheers
Moltron.
though.
Yeah, nowadays, Malice has a lot more cards to summon from hand, too, so they could be a really fun interaction. But you can also just play around it completely if you just banish all your cards instead.
Well, he did open up with the Droll and Lockbird, so he's gonna have to make some decisions here. Does he want to cut himself off?
Dormouse.
We shall find out. But
And
he's gonna
I'll
kind of
pay
play
300
around
for
things
Dormouse.
as the Mouse P Dormouse is banished by Gold Sarcophagus. Pay 300 life points. Special summon that out.
Yeah, you're totally right. I think he did like regret it a little bit in Game 1, turning off his Red Ransom and denying
I like
himself
that
Malice in the mirror. So here we see Dormouse going to go ahead and banish a Malice name. If he has another Malice name in hand, you can go for Chessie. If you don't have one, go for White Rabbit probably. Most standard lines.
Yep, looks like White Rabbit it is.
Classic. And that's the
Rabbit,
Collector's
I'll
Rare one
pay
too.
300.
Gorgeous.
Definitely did not come here to mess around. I think that Collector's Rare seems to be his favorite rarity, right? You see a lot of Collectors, some Ultimates too, but just great card collection here as Dean is gunning to be our YCS champion. Still got plenty of rounds to go, but great start here on this game 3 as the White Rabbit is going to set.
It's probably going to be the GWC06 or TB11 maybe, but
Looks
yeah,
like GWC.
yeah, just want to play around as much stuff as possible, and GWC is like the most flexible trap card.
So weird to see people, running less than the full complement of the trap cards, but it's the future.
Yeah, so I think Dean's thinking to himself, can I just play around this Perulia the entire turn and maybe save my Droll and Lockbird? I think I'm going to try to do that.
That would be ideal to save the Droll and Lockbird, because obviously dinosaurs do a lot of searches from the Solely New Oviraptor to many more
Activate
cards. But we're going to go ahead and activate the Wizard at Ignister here.
And that's
Yep,
a little
I'll
too
target
valuable. I'll go ahead and give you your draw 1 off Perulia. I don't think it's going to be that big of a deal, is what Dean's
Yes,
probably thinking.
Anything here?
Find out what we're going to draw.
Because that's probably the only draw he's going to give him, you know what I mean, during this turn. Because he doesn't need to go through backup anymore because he has more than enough bodies. It's just a matter of how protected he can be against potential trap cards or things like Nibiru and stuff. But with GWC06, I think he's pretty fine.
Taking a second to just read the last few lines of Lingaribo before combining cards. Looks like we're going in for a Link 3. So I guess we'll put that at that down and left arrow.
We'll go for Red Ram.
Red Ransom
we'll trigger
here.
the effect.
We can use the effect here. Going to hopefully search for... Underground actually wouldn't be that bad to get us access to some more names. But Malice in the Mirror is the other Malice card that came out in Alliance Insight. It's a really cool card. And there we see it for Dean going to his hand. Because he's adding it to his hand, he'll be able to kind of use it as an interruption
I'll probably go back.
during Avery's turn because it has an effect to negate your opponent's card effects, which is pretty cool. By
Nice.
banishing your own Malice monsters.
Which, Malice monsters, they hate being banished.
Oh, yeah. It's the absolute worst thing for them in the world, said no one ever.
Well, speaking of banish, let's go ahead and banish a
we'll bring back
Malice
the,
here, so we can
White
go ahead and bring back our White Rabbit. And we're thinking pay 900 for that, but of course gain a little life points first. Oh no, actually you wouldn't gain life points, there's no Link monster, my apologies.
Yes, unfortunately. Like if we chose to just like 06 blink the Red Ransom, yeah, we would gain, but we're not doing that here. We summon the White Rabbit instead. So we've taken a total of 1,500 this turn. Now we're going to banish another name from the deck. We could get March Hare here, but we're going to choose Cat to get another summon in rotation.
I'll pay 300 for Chess.
For that extra body. That'll let us use the Lingerable plus White Rabbit to make White Binder. And we can actually use Chessie now to banish the Mouse in the Mirror that's in our hand and get even more searches through our deck, which is pretty huge.
Attempt to use Chessie Cat effect.
I feel like the direction we're going feels oddly similar to game 1. I have a funny feeling we're going to see like an allied Kotaker at Ignister field again, which isn't bad for any reason, but it just seems to be like the way this board is starting to clump itself together.
But now we got Mouse in the Mirror's effect. We're going to banish Dormouse from our graveyard and search for the same type of card. So we banished a monster, we're going to search for a monster.
March.
All right, we got the March Hare here, so Curiouser and Curiouser.
Every name is in rotation now. Oh my god, I don't know if people saw it on stream, but I believe Dean has different Dimension Ground in hand.
Interesting.
And we were talking about how Dimension Shifter might be a scary card for dinosaurs. Something tells me DDG is also one of those.
Yeah, it's also a little bit more... you can get a hand on both sides of the steering wheel a little better with different Dimension Ground because unlike Dimension Shifter, you just set the card, you just activate it, and there you go. Whereas Dimension Shifter, obviously a very strong card, but limited not necessarily because of how good it is in multiples, but just how often you would see it in multiples. Whereas different Dimension Ground, pop the trap and everything's banished, and all of a sudden dinosaurs aren't going to become fossils in the graveyard, they're just going to get banished out of existence.
100%. And here we see the Link 3 into White Binder using the Red Ransom as Link material.
I would disagree, but not.
So there we see White Binder on summon to potentially declare the effect. We're not going to use the effect.
We'll use the effect of White Binder.
To set from grave or deck.
Trap.
You're going to probably choose to set the GWCS6 again. Yep, there it is. We have all the follow-up we need to now to make sure we have at least 1 or 2 guaranteed interruptions, depending on what else we can go for here.
A lot of cards in hand. Many points of interruption. I think 2 Droll and Lockbirds again. That may be enough to close this out on its own. No graveyard, no access to your deck. That feels pretty rough for dinosaurs.
I think the thing that Dean is thinking about is like how worth it is it to play into this Perulia, because he's going to get another draw no matter what if I summon this March Hare. So it's probably just like the cost-benefit analysis of that. He probably does need to be a bit careful of his life total because we are getting a little low on time, and it's easier to gain life points during your own turn than it is during your opponent's turn because the plays are a little less ideal. And if you lose too much life, you probably can't gain that much back anyway.
Well, especially if an Ultimate Conductor Tyranno drops down, its ability to do both a lot of battle damage and some effect damage. But I have a funny feeling we're never going to get any dinosaurs to the graveyard here. But speaking of the grave, it's Link 2, and we are going to make Splash Mage? Yeah, Splash Mage.
Okay, and that can probably get us into like Wicked maybe, to maybe get us access to backup at Ignister, because fun fact, that is a tuner monster. But we're going to get Chessie Cat here. Back using Splash Mage's effect.
I think we might be considering banishing something.
You have to get the March Hare.
Oh, but I think the Allure of Darkness is going to drop down instead.
You're good?
That's a pretty good way to
I don't
kind
know
of...
if I gave you this to shuffle it.
I'll cut for you.
Okay.
Yep.
So let's go ahead and cut.
Yep.
Here we go.
2 cards after already having a pretty stacked field.
And we know we have the March Hare.
Oh, wow. Ash Blossom and Infinite Permanence drawn, banishing the Maliss March Hare. That's just free.
Yeah, I think at this point, if I'm Dean, I'm more than happy to give Avery the extra draw off this Perulia, because then I can make Cryptor, and making Cryptor here would be just so, like, kind of lights out almost.
Feels very strong. Gonna have to be a little careful. Remember that, you're going to have to send the Droll and Lockbird to the graveyard, but that may not be an issue, depending on the timing of the different Dimension Ground.
That is from him, so you get a draw.
All right, wow. Draw for turn. This is going to be rough for Avery, but let's see how he can deal with this.
And we've officially used every single Malice name besides Cryptor, which means we've taken a total of 900, 900, 900, 300, which I believe is 3,000 damage.
Yep.
Big numbers for sure.
I should have used all of them by now.
Yeah, so they're just making sure that they themselves know how much life points he's lost this turn.
And I just
to verify, yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's a total of 3,000 damage, which is a lot. Not the easiest for him to kind of gain back with GWCO6 either, because it does have a life point gain effect. And depending on how long Avery's turn takes, we could be going to time here, which could be dangerous for Dean. That's kind of the risk you're playing with a deck like Maliss.
No.
Guess we were just counting up the lost life points here.
Yeah, always. The judges are trying to keep track of it, I think, just to make sure
yes,
that's
I can do that.
accurate.
No, can't, because that requires 3. I've not used... Okay. So we're going to go...
Definitely an extended turn here.
3.
But I don't think giving Avery that draw was that big of a problem after all the advantage we have accumulated.
100%. We could see a really cool play here. We're just going to go for the Cryptor, but like something we could have done was like go Allied Kotaker, and because we have less zones now, we still summon both.
We'll activate backup.
Oh, we're still going in, so maybe give another draw there with the backup at Ignister.
Okay, there we see
Once
backup.
more. We don't know what kind of cards were side decked in.
We've already used Wizard this turn.
Add a copy of March Hare.
Yeah, so having this March Hare as a way to recycle back any Maliss monster that we put into our graveyard during Avery's turn could be really huge for us.
Okay.
And then we'll activate Droll in response to Perulia's draw.
I think that's actually a discarded draw off the effect of backup at Ignister.
Oh, you're totally correct. You're totally correct.
But he always has 2 draws, so it's always fine.
Yep, and there we see the Link 5 into Allied Kotaker at Ignister that we probably saw in Game 1.
Going to Allied Code.
Yep.
Same
That's
as last
easy.
time. We're going to get the 2 names back. Going to be White Rabbit and Red Ransom with a Cryptor in the graveyard and a March Hare in the hand. But we also have a bunch of other cards in Dean's hand.
All right, so bringing out as many honorary code talkers as we can here.
Go Thrust.
And there we go.
Oh, wow.
Yes, because we activated a monster effect this turn.
We
And
did.
It'll set any card we want. It won't be added to the hand, but it can be set.
Lots of funny choices. Let's see what he chooses. Could be the Dominus Impulse.
Oh, yeah.
Wow. Now that is a lot of homework to do, right? You've got to get through the Dominus Impulse and everything else that we know is in Dean's hand that Avery is unaware of. But again, you don't get this far without knocking through a
it must
few
be set. I have
opponents.
control. No, yes.
That's right, that's
That is
right.
correct.
So he is going to set it.
Sorry,
Yeah,
setting
get that
it.
down.
Making sure we're resolving the
Sorry.
card correctly.
Blank.
But I don't know about you, Steven, but whenever I
What's that,
see a
2 more?
Malice deck with 4 set cards in their back row, I'm quaking in my boots because they also have an Omni Negate in the form of
go
Allied Kotaker right now.
I mean,
Anything in draw.
Dark Ruler no more, Heartbeat's
How much
Feather
time is
Duster,
left?
let's go. Let's find out what
2
Avery has.
But like you mentioned earlier, if Avery can just
Am I
get
in?
to a battle phase,
Oh, step
that's
back
probably
to
going to be
the
more
false
than enough
answer.
damage to kind of force this game in his favor, given how much little time they have.
Certainly could be. So we're going to activate
Any
Fossil
damage.
Dig. That's good. And Droll and Lockbird hurts a little, meaning that you still can use the send effect
Thinking on response.
of... Ooh, thinking on response. Maybe we have a Call by the Grave.
Chain Link 3 question mark? Or sorry, Chain Link 2 because it's a new chain.
You're good.
Okay, so we're locked out with Droll and Lockbird.
And there we see
Oh,
DDG.
no graveyard.
Any monster sent to the graveyard this turn is banished.
Yep.
Chain miss.
And we're going to chain.
Miscellaneousaurus!
Because fun fact, guys, the way that interacts with monsters, they would not be sent to the graveyard.
And
Sorry,
so...
banished. They will not be
Yeah,
banished.
and the crowd cheering for that one. Hopefully in the chat.
We'll
You better
chain
be
the
going
call.
crazy. Come on, get all your
Contributing for
keyboards.
cost.
Ooh, but we're going to chain Allied Kotaker Ignister to the Misk to negate that
Unless this
effect.
is banished or it stays in grave. Stays in grave.
Yep, so the Misk's effect was not activated. The DDG has resolved, therefore any dinosaurs that are sent are
it
still
is
banished.
negated.
Gorgeous
Unfortunately.
copy, by the way, of that different dimension ground. Wow.
Oh,
On
yeah.
res,
Yep.
we'll go GWC.
Crowd has gotten noticeably quiet.
I mean, but like I said,
Summon.
I don't see how Dean gains 3,100 life points in 50 seconds.
You're good.
Yeah, time is ticking.
So,
Oh, but I
I'll gain
think,
23.
but we only gained 2,300.
yeah, 23, it's not enough.
Targeting. It
Miss,
targets.
it targets.
Yep.
So we are going to
Target
banish that
White
Miscellaneousaurus
Binder
before it's able to do anything. There's plenty of cards, though, in the hand, so see what kind of moves we do have.
Do we have any time extensions?
Nope.
No time extensions. That is the real time on the clock there, already accounting for the earlier slow play minor warning.
Pay 3.
And we are going to pay the 300 with White Rabbit.
Yeah, you're fine. You're fine.
Interesting. Okay, going to pay 300.
Yeah.
Yep, and then the Misk was banished because the White Binder's effect. We're going to be
Under
setting
draw, right?
another trap card. We are under Droll.
Normal.
Sure.
Back to some.
There we see
Infinite permanence.
Imperm on the Overraptor. It's not going to be activated, and I believe
Yep, you're good.
I think we are at the end of this timer, which means we should just be going to the end of the main phase.
I mean, it doesn't matter. My life's lower.
Oh, and Dean
'Cause I
already
paid life.
saying it doesn't matter. My life is lower.
Just like the story of Icarus, I think, unfortunately, Dean flew a little close to the sun with all of his Malice effects.
Absolutely.
I forgot you paid life. I literally saw you do everything, and I just.
Had he laid off like the second Link 3 effect on his first turn, he would have gained more life points than Avery and would have won. That's usually kind of what you do when you're closer to time with Dean. Oh, sorry, as a Malice player, but there it is.
And that's the game.